Hey, shalom, call halal, Yabashim, Shabashim, Dash. Double to the apostles at the S, salutations to the elect men, women, and children that believe of the 1/3. Had this lesson on my mind, been meditating on it for a little bit now, and damn, let me live, can't live out here. But so pursuing the Matthew 10:34, the Lord said he come not to send peace on earth, but a sword. And he gets into a man's foe shall be they of his own household. He come to set, people at differences with each other. And I wanted to touch on, a little old proverb. Are you a family man or are you a man with a family? So, and this is where a lot of people get destroyed at. Because when Yahweh Shem Yahushai is your main priority, when Yahweh Shem Yahushai is your everything and your main focus, whatever you lose or whatever's getting in the way of your main focus, and you'll be willing to sacrifice, but a lot of people can't. Hey, that's a major distraction for Satan. We're getting people to fall out the truth or get weak and so on, which I've seen personally, which is the woman, that's one, but kids. And the saying goes, see, are you a family man or are you a man with a family? If you're a family man, everything you do revolves around the family, and the Lord is secondary. Now, you might say like, no, the Lord is first. But it's gonna come situations, especially when the MOTB get rolled out, and circumstances, even before then, and circumstances where you're gonna have to choose. You might not have to sacrifice them, and you're gonna have to, God damn, there's potholes everywhere. You're gonna have to choose the Lord or them. And the Lord said, what? If thy right eye offend thee, cut it off. So it might be times where you need to take a break from them, or get away from them. Hey, look at Ishmael with Hagar, the Egyptian. They had to take a hike because that wasn't who the Lord was dealing with. He was dealing with Sarah and Isaac from Abraham, And so what you gonna say, like, Abraham was a deadbeat dad? Nah, he was dealing with purpose. He was dealing with alignment. And I'm not saying just, the scriptures say if you don't, Timothy's 5:8, take care of your family or, what you created, you worse than an infidel. So it is balance. But look, sometimes, hey, you see, this whole thing about a man being around fucking every day, all day and all that shit, that's more modern world bitch shit society. Men was constantly on the go, doing shit, making money, hunting, and doing other things. He wasn't fucking in the house all day, or on some Al Bundy shit. And they showed you that when the show Married with Children. You know, hey, the Lord dropped it heavy with that show because that's basically how life was going to be for men. A fucking couch potato. And you know, when your kids see you, they're supposed to be like, hey, daddy, and run to you. And you're supposed to have like stories or tell what happened on the road, what, you know, what, tell us what, you know. Not just you walk through the door, oh, it's him. You know, they pause the game, oh, it's him again. No. You know, men was adventurous. They had to be. You know, and with that show, you know, which is heavy, I might start watching that whole shit again, which it got a lot of seasons. But it's a lot of, because I watched it as a kid, but like it's a lot of meat in that shit. Amalek on the left-hand side was telling motherfuckers, like, you know, love, and it comes on, love in the marriage, go together like God, and his life was a fucking living hell. Because he was a fucking, a family man. He wasn't a man with a family. And they showed you that too with Bad Boys, to think about it. The movie Bad Boys with Martin and Will. You know, Will, Mike Larry, he was like more of a playboy player type. And I ain't saying live that life, but Marcus Burnett, which was Martin, he dealt with, he wasn't getting no ass. His wife wouldn't fuck him. He was just like stuck. He had no freedom. He couldn't do shit. You know what I mean? Even though he could, but it was the threat, always the threat of his wife getting mad and taking the kids away. But you can't, listen, man, you can't live under that FUD. You got to be on some shit like I'll be going to some November shit. And really, you could still hold your family down. You don't have to be there to hold your family down. You could take off and be like, listen, I'm going to send bread. I'm going to send bread back as usual. You know what I mean? I'm gone. I ain't, you know what I mean? I'll be back. When you coming back? 6 months. I don't know. But I'm going to send bread back. I'll be called, you know, with the modern day technology. I'm going to call, make calls, I'll be back. But a lot of dudes, they know they can't do that shit because they know Eve gonna get mad. See, these women want you to be a fucking servant to them. They don't tell you that, but that's their whole ultimate goal. And because if you talk about, Salaki, if you talk about leaving or doing some other shit outside of them, they're gonna try to find a way to stop you or make you feel bad. And it's not like you leaving for good, but you might have to go somewhere for a little bit. And if they really with you, they'll be there when you get back. Real talk. But most of these women ain't with you. They going, you dip away for 6 months, that bitch gonna have another dude up in there. And that's what a lot of you dudes in and out of the truth. If you in the truth, you ain't supposed to be like that. But that's what a lot of people are afraid of and scared of. And their whole fucking life revolves around that. And once Satan get wind of what you afraid and scared of, he gonna use that as a tool to get you up out of there. And these women' ultimate goal is to turn your ass to their personal servant. And the way they do it without you even knowing it. You think you doing a good deed or whatever, but really actually you being fucking manipulated. So And hey, going back to the Luke 14, it tell you what, if a man hate not his mother, father, even his own life, he can't be my disciple. And hate just meaning what? You're not willing to forsake that for the Lord. So you got to be willing to forsake even your own life, things you personally want to do, and live for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. I don't give a fuck if it's a woman, kids, whoever. Most of these kids too, you be done did all this for these kids. They turn 12, 13 and go off into the world and be fucking niggas, homos, and lesbos. For real. So your sacrifice ain't mean shit. Not to the eyes of them. And these women fuck around and leave you anyway. You know how many, especially stepmother situation, you know how many women dealt with men and they used them as stepdaddies? As soon as the kids got old enough to graduate college and shit like that, they left them motherfuckers. Soon as the kids were stable, they straight left them. After 17 years, 22 years, and all of that shit, they said, fuck you, nigga, take a hike. After his hard work and sacrifice was given for all of those years. So, man, look, you don't want to be a family man. You want to be a man with a family if you got a family. So a family, that's just something else that you possess. Even though it's people, but you possess your car, do right by your car. Get your oil changed, get your car washed, vacuum the inside. You might put some sea foam in it, engine cleaner, and, you might get some synthetic oil instead of the cheap shit. Take care of your shit. If you own it, take care of it. You got a dog, do right by the dog. Take care of the dog. You got jewelry or whatever you own. So if you got a family, do right by your family. Take care of your family. But if that shit gotta go, or for the sake of the Lord, or if it's getting in the way, hey, you got to cut it off. Because in this truth, you are a man with a family, not a family man. And with that, shalom.